Questions for Coach. Parrish, you want to start us off?
Mike, really didn't have a question about Alcorn. So maybe somebody else should go first if you wanted to address the game first.
Nick?
I guess just to start with Mallets, what kind of role do you see him in? Do you like him in this midweek role, or do you just want to kind of stretch him out today?
Yeah, we, today was one of the things. We're going to change up the rotation. We'll talk, a little bit about that, in a second after we're done with the game this weekend. So we wanted to move McDaniel to the weekend. And so it kind of opened up and really, I thought it was an opportunity. Remember, all these guys started in high school, so it's not really a different mindset. Most everybody was, a starting pitcher in high school, but, a chance to run him out there. I knew as aggressive as they were that, his 3-pitch mix with his fastball, slider, and his change, that he could get us off to a good start. And he was terrific. I mean, just really filled it up with all 3 pitches. And, we made it hard on him a little bit, a couple innings, but defensively, but no, just proud of him, proud of the way all the guys threw today, to be honest with you. A lot of guys where, I just felt, a little different than we were this weekend, where instead of fighting uphill and behind in counts, today it seemed like, a lot of first pitch strikes, and even at times where they probably weren't as aggressive that as I thought they would be, and again, most of what, we could go off of is what the tape showed us from last year where they played so well here. And, but I, proud of the way Josh threw. He was just terrific.
Ben?
Yeah, Mike, you mentioned changing up the weekend. What kind of changes are you talking about?
And let's stay on the game first, and then we'll get to that. Unless you guys are done with the game.
I'm done with the game.
I'm done with the game.
All right. So a couple announcements. One, Max Chofie had knee surgery this morning, and to repair a slight tear in his meniscus, and should be out for 2 to 4 weeks. And so Max, we found out about, and I'm not sure, maybe a week or so ago. But part of the deal with that injury is, sometimes they can push through, and he tried, but still was just uncomfortable. He had to leave at the end of last week because he had a couple of deaths in his family, and he left town. Got back this past weekend, through again. But just really was, felt discomfort. So decision was made on Sunday. And one of the reasons we waited, why not tell you on Sunday, is, wanted him to get through the surgery, because sometimes when they go in there, it's a little different. And so we want to make sure that he got through surgery and could give you a better read of what we thought when he would be back. And, the surgery went terrific. He's on crutches. He was in the dugout, but walking around, said he felt great. And they think somewhere between 2 and 4 weeks that he'll be back out there. The other announcement that has more to do with the rotation is Doug Nikhazy. Doug, after the Central Florida game, started having a little bit of, I'll call it discomfort, a little tightness in his chest. And it was something he did in the weight room. And, we didn't, just treated it as such, a strain in his chest area, and through his bullpen the week prior to last weekend, felt great, threw great. As you can see, his performance, this past weekend, struck out 10 guys in 5 innings. But the next, had a little, again, this chest area discomfort. So he went and had an MRI done on Monday, yesterday, and it showed a strain in his pectoralis minor, which, Parrish, I'm learning a lot about, the body, but it was probably different than the muscle than they thought. It's the muscle that's under the bigger chest muscle. The pectoralis major inserts into the shoulder, and we thought that was probably he strained something there, but it was actually the minor, which is under, which inserts into the shoulder blade area, which is probably even better, and probably the reason that he's able to throw without much discomfort. But he feels some tightness in his chest area. And so with that, we're going to hold him out. He's getting treated for that with the trainer, and we're going to hold him out this weekend, and then reevaluate next week. So part of the hope is to not do much of anything over the next 3 or 4 days, because it is a muscle kind of, where they just want that muscle to relax. And so we'll know more once we get to next week. So that's the reason with the rotation. We moved Gunnar Hoagland to Friday night. We'll throw Drew McDaniel on Saturday and leave Derek Diamond on Sunday.
Ben?
Mike, you've been using Drew in the midweek all year, and he's done good work in the midweek. How far has he come just developmentally to where he's now in a position where you feel comfortable shifting him over when you need him?
Well, I mean, obviously, I feel really comfortable and moving him to the weekend, and he's our next guy up. And you've heard coaches all the time. Somebody gets hurt, somebody gets injured, somebody's goes out. It's the next guy up. And Drew's been the guy that we've handed the ball to on Tuesday and has really performed, but not just on Tuesday. I mean, a lot of this is what you've seen since we got back from the fall, and he's pitched as well as anybody through the 7 weeks of fall and the 3 weeks here in January and early February. So feel really comfortable with him running out there on Saturday.
Nick?
Have you gotten any info from the trainers on what the recourse is if the reevaluation doesn't go well for Doug? Would this require surgery, or is this just a injury?
No, good question, and absolutely not a surgical thing. It's a strain. It's a grade 2 strain, and so part of the problem, is not knowing. It's kind of I would say like a hamstring, in a sense where, but the difference is. Because it's it's muscular, it's not in a tendon, it's it's not in the shoulder area. This is in his chest, and so it's a muscle strain. And the tough thing is, unlike a hamstring where you can kind of test the strength, you can kind of, we won't really know until he throws, and so we'll gradually get back and see where the discomfort is, and it'll be one of those, as Parrish hates me saying, day-to-day type things, but we certainly don't want to run him out there until he's ready. And the good news is, it's not to the point where it's not anything to do with his arm. I mean, he's thrown the ball terrific, the last 2 weeks where he's somewhat had it. I guess it, he felt it, happen. Maybe in the Central Florida game, where but certainly last game, you having some treatment on the chest area, and felt it in the game. And I think one of the reasons is, if you remember, his game was such a long layoff, and it was chilly that night, so that's when he felt it, not more between innings and tightness in the chest area versus out there pitching. So.
Ben?
Talking
Talking about hamstrings, Mike, how's Peyton doing? What's the update there?
He's doing really well, and he all signs point that he'll start on Friday. Probably could have started today. Just wanted to give it a little more time. He's practiced basically full speed, on Monday, and he's been taking batting practice, since Friday. He's been running sprints full speed. So I think he's ready to go.
Mike, with this being the last weekend before conference play, what do you want to see from your team? What areas would you like to see improvement? What would be, I guess, your goals aside from just winning the series?
Well, I think the obviously, not having Doug, and Trophy, throw a little bit of a wrench into it, because you're going to ask some other guys to, add some innings. A lot of times when you lose guys of that caliber, the blow is the amount of innings. With a guy like Doug, pitching, this late, week 4, you're hoping he could give you maybe 7+ innings, on a Friday night start. and then, to not have somebody like Chofie, that's 9 innings of really high caliber pitching that you miss. So there's going to be some guys like tonight that are going to have to step up and start to have a little different role for us. So that was nice tonight. So that's a long answer to, some of those bullpen guys are going to have to step up. I think attack the strike zone more and be ready to help us this weekend and going forward. Offensively, we've put together, several good games. Defensively, we've been pretty solid. We continue to seem to every couple of games make a dumb base running mistake. I'd like to cut that out, but I think the biggest thing, Parrish, is that we're a little cleaner in the bullpen, maybe than we were, this past weekend.
Nick?
Mike, what are you seeing from Salmons and Plumlee as kind of that fourth, fifth outfielder stuff? Are you seeing progress from those guys? Or are you liking what you're seeing?
Yeah. And it was, I'm sure, you heard a big cheer from the dugout, and, Cade's such a great guy and he's had some good at bats. He just hadn't gotten a hit yet. And, he's got a big hit tonight. Plumlee's worked really hard with Coach Clement. He's made some improvements. You see that, even though you may not see it in his batting average, you should see it. He's walked, more. He's got on base more. Both of them are terrific in the outfield. Both of them, are center field type of guys, and so they add a lot because they both can really run. So they can come off the bench, they can steal bases for you, they can defend, and that's that's a need because the two guys who play on the corner, although they've done fine, when you start running those guys out on corner outfield, they make a difference.
Any more questions for Coach? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.